Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, everyone around the world, and mostly nobody, but it's okay. Welcome to the, what are we on, the third, fourth?
We're on episode 4.
Episode 4.
We're on A New Hope.
Of the pizza, well, all right, number 4. I was like, wait, that's not the fourth one, that's the second one, but then I remember that I'm a fucking boomer, so, I just...
Even then, that wouldn't even be the second one, it'd be the first one. A New Hope is the...
Oh, yeah, it is the first one.
That's episode 4.
We're going to restart the podcast.
No, we're not. This is staying in.
So anyways, welcome to the Pizza Palace. And as always, we will begin with the latest Pistons news, although they haven't played in about 3 months, it feels like.
Dude, it's been since Saturday, which, by the way...
It has been so long. Like, every time I check to see, are the Pistons playing, they're like... Never. So, Sean, please.
May I please watch the Pistons? No.
Yes, just for the Magic Conch.
Yep. Oh, hail the Magic Conch. That's going to be Danny DeVito's nipples again.
God damn it, no. We can't keep putting him there. He needs to sponsor the podcast.
Hey, I'm Danny DeVito. It's not even It's Always Sunny. We're just sponsored by Danny DeVito.
Yeah.
This episode of the Pizza Palace is brought to you by Danny DeVito. Danny DeVito, he does things.
He does things. He's in stuff some of the time.
You can find him.
But yeah, the Detroit Pistons, they don't play basketball anymore. What's going on?
Well, they had a 5-day lapse of no playing, which is weird. But hey, you know what? Cade Cunningham, his first 2 games, he didn't look great. He
did not.
His last 2 games, though, pretty freaking solid,
Looked
man.
So much better.
Oh, my goodness.
Jacking up some threes.
Yeah, so he's still shooting a pretty low percentage in the paint, and he's shooting better from the 3, but there's been a lot of reasons to be optimistic, especially because he played extremely well against the Nets, playing against James Harden and Kevin Durant. He hit a super clutch shot towards the end of the game.
Yep.
That one was fun. That one was just straight up fun.
The Nets game was extremely fun. I was getting really into it. I was very passionate. I was just on the couch wilding out at my my apartment. I was all in on that game.
He looked like the number 1 pick.
Yeah, that was a very fun game to watch.
And that's a performance against that kind of team that you're not going to see, I don't think, from any other rookie, just from like the spotlight of it all.
Sure.
Right now, obviously the best rookie right now has been Evan Mobley. I mean, that kid's been tearing it up. Holy shit. But
Sean, can you go ahead and remind me what team he's on?
Cleveland! This guy's for you.
Yeah, we can move on.
So he was the guy that went 3rd overall that I'm not going to lie, I was straight up wrong on. I mean, he was the most boomer bust just from like from the frame that he has, the type of body he has, but like this guy shoots like a point guard. He's shooting 50% from the field, 80% from the line. He's 7'1".
Wow.
He's got a 7'7" wingspan. This guy's a unicorn, man. Him and Ricky Rubio combined for 66 points against the Knicks the other night.
Jeez.
So yeah,
I would say good for him, but like fuck Cleveland and Lauri Markkanen.
Yeah. Well, so this week's gonna be fun because we play all the top picks this week.
Oh,
yeah,
that'll be cool. So the Rockets on Wednesday, right?
Yeah,
or that's tomorrow.
Yeah, they will have already played by the time this comes out.
Mm-hmm.
So they will play on ESPN tomorrow. So Wednesday night. So that's our only game on national television.
Yeah. As soon as I'm done with rehearsal, I'm gonna sprint home and I'm gonna be all in on that one.
Yeah. Super excited. We're hanging out for that. Not bitter at all. Anyway,
listen, my guy.
Yeah. The one game we marked our calendars for, and we're not going to be watching it.
Yeah, I know. I didn't realize it was on a Wednesday. That's the thing that blows.
I'm just giving you credit.
No, I
You're
understand.
totally
but yeah,
fine,
dude, it does blow, though, because it's like, fuck. Like, I didn't realize it was going to be on a Wednesday. So, oh, well, I got rehearsal bullshit to do, and hopefully I get home in time to see that.
Oh,
so,
yeah, you'll get there. Yeah, you'll get there in time.
It'll be fun.
So, and then we also play the Cavaliers at some point. So playing against Evan Mobley, that'll be fun. I believe we play Scotty Barnes this week too. So who's the rookie for the Raptors, who's also been extremely good. That's been the thing. Of the top 5, 4 of them have looked fantastic, and the 5th was Jalen Suggs.
Yeah, Yeah, pretty much.
Now, Robert.
Yeah.
Big basketball fan, as we established.
Huge, as we just established.
Right before the podcast. So I asked him, because I have League Pass, but I'm thinking about getting the cheaper bundle. But I was like, I don't want to screw over Robert. So let me just check. And I was like, Robert, how much League Pass do you watch? He's like, absolutely none. I was like, all right, well, that makes my decision very easy. So
I was like, I've only watched the Pistons, and then other than that, if the Pistons aren't on, I'm going to be watching hockey, and it kind of doesn't matter who's on. I'm just going to be watching hockey.
ESPN Plus, freaking incredible for that, eh?
That has been really nice. Yeah, I feel like not much has changed for me this season because I've always done the NHL TV pass anyways.
Well, yeah, but how much cheaper is ESPN Plus compared to that? You know what I mean?
That's definitely nice. The fact that it's just bundled in, that has definitely been a huge thing. Yeah, the interface could use some work as far as the way that they do it because it's just all cluster-fucked in with everything else.
Yeah.
And I kind of liked when I went to the NHL TV to where it was just like you click on it. Well, it's only NHL, so you can find the game you want right away. You click on it, and then it tells you, which broadcast do you want, the home or away. You click on it, you're good to go.
Here's what I will say.
They kind of have that on ESPN Plus, but it's a little annoying.
Here's what I will say. ESPN Plus, I mean, its interface is fine. Depends on what kind of device you're using. I think
it just depends on what you're trying to use it for.
Right, yeah, but for sure. But I will say, I've watched NHL now on ESPN.
Mm-hmm.
I've watched NHL now on TNT. Mm-hmm. Clean. Both. It is the broadcasts that they're putting out for these nationally televised games, impeccable. Way better than NBC.
Oh, yeah.
Way better.
Fucking
leagues. So, like, is the Stanley Cup on ABC this year? Is that on the ESPN networks?
You have no question mark? I have no idea. I have absolutely no idea.
Wow, big hockey fan apparently too.
Well, I don't exactly pay attention to what TV networks they're on, generally speaking.
Yeah, that's fair. But I mean, like, I feel like it matters for hockey specifically because of the fact that they've been, kind of in the dark for so long. So, like, the fact that they're on ESPN now, which, people don't think is a big deal, it's a big deal.
Sure.
You know what I mean? I think it's a big deal.
Listen, man, for me as a guy who was watching come hell or high water, if I was the only viewer of the NHL, it was pretty much just like my TV remote has the little like talkie thing or whatever. And so I'm just like, bring me to the Stanley Cup basically. And then I just, it's like, who gives a fuck what channel it's on? It'll find it for me. My TV finds. I'm such a boomer.
You really are. Like, I'm glad you realize I got the button that lets me talk.
It's
and
so bad.
I tell it to put on hockey, and then it tells me the weather. I mean, like, I don't need a wife.
Yeah, well, I also have Alexa, too, to where, like, if I don't know when something's on or whatever, I've multiple times been like, hey, Alexa, what time is that game on tonight? And, whatever game it is. And I'll ask her, and she'll be like, the Detroit Red Wings are playing the Calgary Flames tonight at 8 o'clock on NBC.
Yeah, I just picture you sitting there with your suspenders, your rum and vodka.
Absolutely.
Your
White
Jack
Russian.
and Coke. Yeah, exactly.
Yep,
You're
yep.
just... Siri!
Siri?
What time is... Lexi. Alexa. What time is
Alexis.
this on?
Yeah.
What?
It is so funny because I'm like, I can't social media. I can barely fucking text. I can't TV. I can't do anything, to be honest with you. Dude,
hey, Lexicon, give me toilet paper.
I think it was late or mid last year that I finally asked somebody how the fuck that you use, like the fun little filters on Snapchat. I had no idea. Like where you like hold on your face and then you can like do weird shit, like where it makes your face like do weird things. I didn't know how to fucking do that till like late last year. I had no idea. So I could only pretty much just take regular photos on Snapchat because I was like, I don't fucking know. I couldn't do a filter. I couldn't.
Did you ever wonder, like...
I just had no idea. They're like, oh, you hold on your face. And I was like, well, what the fuck? How was I going to know that?
Yeah, so the Pistons, I'm hoping we can at least split these games against these top rookies. We only have one. Both us and the Rockets only have one win right now. So both.
Okay.
Both teams.
Sure you left off the B. I was like, huh?
I think I had a stroke of genius for a second. I think I went oath. I think I started.
Are you good?
Can
we flash back up Danny DeVito? We need to stall.
We are
yeah, basically nothing's happening with the Pistons right now because I haven't played in about 45 years.
But hey,
and,
by the time this episode releases, things will have happened.
Yes. So hopefully
I
you're sitting there watching this going, yeah, Cade looked amazing and he dunked on Jalen Green, Jalen Brown, Jalen Orange. What's his name?
Jalen Green.
Whatever, that other guy who doesn't matter.
Now here's what I will say. Have you seen the Ben Simmons reports, the latest?
Yeah, that he might go to the Celtics.
The Celtics are reportedly interested, and that Jalen Brown would have to be in the deal in order for it to happen.
You know, do you remember when at the beginning of the season I was excited to see the Celtics going back to being my Celtics, which were the shitty Celtics when they had Al Horford and a bunch of dog shit?
You're getting what you want.
I don't think I wanted them to go this far.
So you wanted them
too far.
You wanted them to suck.
Not this badly.
Not this badly.
Yes. They're going a little too far. They're taking it. They understood the assignment a little too well. Like, I didn't expect them to, like, actually take the Cornell notes really well and, like, actually use them when I say that it's an open notes test.
They were like, well, they said he wanted us to suck.
It's unbelievable. By the way, did you ever have those? Like the open book tests or whatever in school and stuff like that?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, so, or open notes is what I mean.
Yeah, so
I failed every single one of those because they were like, oh, open notes. And I went, well, my notebook is blank. So,
well, that's where you just ask someone for the notes.
Nah.
Dude, like, literally, do you remember those tests where they'd be like, all right, everything you need for this test will be on this one blank sheet of paper. And they were like, and then you'd be like, okay, how much of the paper can we use? Like, let's get over the semantics. They're like, you can use both sides. I'm like, all right, well, like, I would literally fill that sumbitch. And it was literally to the point where, like, if I had to go in, like, different directions and turn
absolutely. I've seen people who do that.
Yeah, 100%, dude. And, like, you know what the real trick was? Was that the reason why they do that is because by the time you actually go to the test and after you've written all that stuff out, you don't even need the notes because it makes you memorize it. Because teachers know what they're doing because they're like, oh, yeah, well, we'll let you have this so you can read it on the test. It's like, we were never going to read that on the test. You were just making us memorize shit, you bastards.
Well, the good news was that I didn't pay attention. I did not take notes. I did not do well on the test.
We got to talk
because I did not know the information.
We got to talk about the one semester of college we went to together.
We definitely need to reminisce about this. Yes,
because so I remember our favorite college moment together was when you decided to skip a class, and I was in class, and you spent that.
It definitely wasn't the first time or the only time.
No. And you spent that time making a SpongeBob beat.
Oh, yeah.
Which, absolute banger, by the way.
Yeah, so
Does that still exist? Is that still...
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. I can probably send you the file or something.
Heck yeah. Link it to down below. But anyway.
I made a really shitty, like, weird... club banger song, basically.
Are you feeling it now, Mr. Krabs?
It was, like, mostly made out of, like... some pre-made loops and other like bullshit, and then just like drums that I put in and just like whatever. I was basically just crafting this really fucking obnoxious beat, and then I just chopped in there a bunch of SpongeBob samples essentially, and then I like also at one point just like fucked with them or whatever and made them sound all weird. It was really a time. Yeah,
and I just remember listening to that, and I just looked at you and went, "So how was class?"
Dude, it's just unbelievable. I remember I put my bags down one time in class, and then I walked out and I went down because there was a Subway in the basement. And I went down there and just ate Subway like during the time that my class would be, and then I went back upstairs and grabbed my bag and left. So I don't even know why I even showed up. I guess just so that I would be like, hey, he showed up to class, but I don't even know why I bothered to do that.
You know,
I think I intended to go back, but I think I just got distracted, and then I just decided not to.
Yeah, I was going to say, the balls on you to not only just straight up not sit in there the entire time, but like the fact that you had to go back to get your... So like you actively chose to skip class, walk in to grab your bag, and acknowledge with the professor that you just spent all that time not in his class.
Yeah, and also walked in with like my bag of chips and Subway cup in hand. So like it was pretty obvious where I had been.
Well, listen, hey, that Subway was the solace of that college.
I just, no matter what grade you pick, if you just took a dartboard and like, how'd you do in this grade? I didn't do well in any of them ever in school.
Hey, you know what? That's okay.
Yeah. I just, I achieved a lot. And that's why I'm here doing this podcast.
Well, hey, you know what? You can tell people I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm a critical thinker.
That's right. But
Aaron Rodgers. Yeah.
Before we get to Aaron Rodgers, I do want to mention the Detroit Red Wings because they deserve all the credit in the world right now. They are the most fun that they've been in like 9 years, and I love it, and I'm so happy. Finally, for once, I have some joy in Hockey Town. And they're barely over 500, but God damn it, it feels like they're undefeated is how happy I've been.
I feel like that's like how it was for like the Pistons last year. It was like, we're kind of okay, really not that good.
Yeah.
But man, are we fun.
They've been so good in a lot of ways. Like our two rookies, like Raymond and Sider, are pretty much fighting each other for Rookie of the Year, which is amazing.
Right.
And yeah, Sider has just looked, like an absolute stud on defense. He actually got the game-winning goal the other day. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Raymond just continues to just score like crazy, as well as our boy Bertuzzi, who needs to get the fucking shot already.
Only one in the NHL, baby.
It's so annoying because he is third in the entire NHL in goals.
Mm-hmm.
He has 8 goals. The other 2 above him have 10.
I love how in every other sport, the players that aren't getting vaccinated, it's a conversation. In hockey, it's just that Bertuzzi just not getting a shot.
It's so annoying, especially because like half of our division is Canadian teams, so it's just like, hey man, you can't play all these divisional games. Like, you're kind of fucking up our program here, buddy.
Right.
It's kind of okay for this season, but I just don't see it being a good thing for the future if this continues to be an issue. So I don't know what they're gonna do, but
I would imagine. It's hard to tell where things are gonna go, right? But I'd imagine because they're. Not only are they still getting people vaccinated, but they're also developing remedies and stuff. Because that's really the first step is the vaccine, right? But the next step is like the actual like.
Oh, there's some remedies, Sean. There's some ivermectin.
Okay. Well, I'm talking about the real remedies. I'm talking about the actual treatments that they're developing at like OSHA and the CDC.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Monoclonal antibodies. It's okay. We'll get there. I can't wait.
I'm trying to be serious here.
No, I know.
Oh, my gosh. But
I just can't help it because it's just...
Yeah.
Well, anyways.
You were the one just admitting, we'll get to Aaron Rodgers. Now you're like, ivermectin.
No, but go Red Wings. Our boy Larkin is back on the ice, our captain. He was away from the team for about a week with personal issues.
Yeah.
He came back, and then they asked him directly, what was up, and he basically just said that there was a family emergency, and he hopes that, they can respect his privacy. No one asked after that. Everything's good, and we're doing just that, respect it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Hope everything's
He's here to play, so whatever it was.
It feels like the Red Wings and the Tigers are kind of in this exact same spot,
Mm-hmm.
where, like, the Tigers this past year, it was kind of the same thing, where, like, this team's actually kind of fun to watch, and, like, there's actually an identity here. And
I was going to say it's actually different because you were saying the Pistons from last year. It's a bit different than that. It's probably where the Pistons will be in a few years.
Yeah, it's where the Pistons will be in like 2-3 years probably.
Yeah, because it's like right now both teams are good enough to where it's like, oh shit, in like a year we could pick up a bunch of free agents and then really start to actually put something together and be competitive.
Which, by the way,
is what the Tigers are doing.
Yeah, they went and saw Justin Verlander pitch, which, if you ask me, here's the thing. Listen,
he's 95 years old.
I don't care. Bring him home. Bring him home. Like, here's the thing. I don't. It's the Cabrera thing, right? Listen,
He's also 100 years old.
I know, but bring him home. They're home.
He's from Virginia.
I don't care.
Okay. Here's the only way that I am okay with Justin Verlander is that I'm like, okay, he is not a long-term solution, obviously. The Tigers aren't going
He's not?
The Tigers are not going to make it to the World Series within the next couple of seasons. So
Hey, we could be bringing in Correa. We could be bringing in Verlander. Hey,
still won't make the World Series in the next
I'm
2
not
seasons.
claiming we're going to the World Series, but hey, we're gonna get fun.
But what I'm saying
we're
is,
gonna get fun.
the only with Verlander specifically though, the thing with him is that I think he would be a fun ad just because they have the money to afford it anyways. He would be a solid arm because they don't really have any other like major veteran arm, and Boyd or whatever fucking sucked forever, so he's got to go. But the good thing would be is that he would mostly be there to sort of groom our pitchers that are coming up. You know,
Yeah.
and we have Casey Mize and Scooball and all these guys and whatever. So
Absolutely.
I think that would be a beneficial kind of move or whatever. I think it makes a lot more sense for him to go to like a Dodgers or Yankees, Red Sox, some team that's ready to win now that just needs an ace on the team to continue to fluff their arms.
I definitely think it would make sense for him to go to a win now situation.
It's like kind of the only option when you're a guy who has like literally one good year left.
Yeah, but I would say don't count out the Detroit situation because I really
definitely don't.
Because here's the thing. Ultimately, Justin Verlander is the only one that knows what he's going to do, right? But, I mean, when you're talking about a guy, his ties with Detroit, like, it's Matt Stafford level of, like, that kind of love and that kind of, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I think that's all fine, and I think that's real.
Let me dream, okay?
And I'm not shutting down the dream. I think it's a very real possibility. Like, I do think that, there's a few teams that are on his list, and Detroit is, easily in the top 5 of teams that he could go to.
Yeah.
But the teams that I saw that were the major contenders for him are going to be teams like the Rangers, the Yankees, and the Tigers. The Rangers make no fucking sense.
Right.
He has no ties to the team. I don't even know what their arm situation is of like who he would be trying to help develop. So that's just random as hell. The Yankees make all the sense in the world just because they already have Garrett Cole. You add him and a few more guys on the roster and stuff like that. Now you have a hell of a starting staff. Bullpen's already pretty decent, and then they're all obviously going to change a bunch of things.
Okay, so I see what's going on here.
Listen,
You want him to go to the Yankees.
I don't actually. I would much rather, if we were going to go for an older veteran presence, I would want Masahiro Tanaka. I want to take him back from Japan. He had a really good season, and they got bounced in the first round of the playoffs, but he'd be really good. So, yeah. No, in the Tigers, for nostalgia, he'd be fine. To train Mize, sure, but yeah.
This guy hates fun. Anyway,
I don't hate fun. I'm just being realistic, and I'm just trying to give the analysis that I see.
Speaking of guys that are being realistic and are giving the analysis that only they see.
Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
So, I just real quick, I just gotta say,
go for it.
Of all the idiots in all of the idiot villages in all of the idiot worlds, you stand out, my friend, Michael Scott to Toby. Aaron Rodgers is becoming my Toby, man. There is not anybody from an objective standpoint that is as unlikable as Aaron Rodgers. He has taken the cake. He has taken the turd cake. But just to make sure, Aaron, we're not in the woke mob. We're not your cancel culture. We're not your angry libs.
Yeah.
This is Sean talking, Aaron. Now, I know you're a critical thinker.
He has 500 pages of research, Sean. 500 pages.
500 pages.
He literally said that. I was like, the fuck does that mean? Then publish it. I was like,
also,
let us see what those 500 pages are. I'd love to see them.
People also passed out. There's a lot that went through. Like, I had a friend message me about like the Rodgers thing. He hadn't watched all of it yet. And like because like if you watch only like the first 10 minutes of it, you could go, okay, I can see. Because if he literally just said, yeah, I didn't get the shots because I'm allergic to an ingredient in the mRNA vaccines, and I'm afraid of sterility. If he literally just stopped at that, he's still wrong.
Right, but at
least you could somewhat make sense with his logic.
Sure.
By
the way, I think he's full of shit on that.
Problem is he didn't stop talking. And his true feelings shine through, which is he thinks he knows better than doctors. And the thing is that first of all, he admitted his entire medical team, holistic doctors.
Well, literally also it's mostly Joe Rogan.
Well, it's mostly Joe Rogan, because that was the other thing. This guy went back on the Pat McAfee show today, and Pat McAfee was like, oh, so other than Dr. Joe Rogan, who are you consulting with about COVID? And he was like, yeah, a ton of friends, Joe Rogan.
But mostly Joe Rogan.
Yeah, it's pretty much Joe Rogan. But also, he also admitted his medical team practices holistic medicine.
That sounds about right.
Which he would also infer multiple times, because healing, there's not a whole lot of money in actually healing people.
Mm-hmm.
You have to, because holistic medicine believes that that you get healing through just overall healing, spiritually, mentally.
So like Gwyneth Paltrow, this is like Goop.
Yeah, 100. Yeah, literally.
This is just male Goop.
The other thing, these protocols he went through, all these protocols that got
the
him
draconian protocols that were so hard.
Yeah, these protocols he went through for months to get him immunized, because that's what he called them. He never gave us how
those protocols. Okay,
yeah. He's never talked about how he actually, what he actually did in order to achieve immunization, which means he didn't do anything. And if he did do something, it's absolute bullshit, because he was like, I'm not going to list what they are for my privacy, but I went through this protocol that I'm pretty proud of. Did all this research. Yeah, he said that a few
times. I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah.
Did a ton of research. I'm real proud of that research. I'm like, buddy, your concern was basically that the COVID vaccine doesn't work, and so you went with something else that you think did work.
Yeah.
It didn't work.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing, because here's the thing, and he also claimed and the NFL doctor was like, oh, well, you can't get COVID if you get the vaccine, and that he kept claiming that. But here's the thing, for months now, no one's been claiming that you can't end up not getting COVID while having the vaccine. No one said that.
I tried to dispel that immediately, because even when that was sort of a talking point, at the very beginning, I was trying to tell my coworkers that that's just not going to be the case. That's just silly. When you get the flu shot, which I just got today, and that's been fun, you're not just never going to get the flu again.
Right. It just means that those effects are going to be way lesser on your body. And it's, there's just, listen, neither of us are doctors, neither of us are medical professionals, but what we are is, what we do know is our lane, right? And we know to listen to medical professionals, people that actually did the research, because the research is out there, people.
So the few things that I have to say about this is, number one, I think he's lying about being allergic to anything in it.
Yep.
Because if that was the case, the NFL has a section that you can have a medical exemption.
Right.
And all he would literally have to do is submit that to the NFL that I have this medical exemption that I need. He was denied a medical exemption, which to me shows he either A, just willingly didn't provide them the evidence of it, or B, is full of shit and didn't have anything to provide to them because he's not allergic.
Right. Well, and also he quoted the CDC website for why for claiming that it said that if you are allergic to this ingredient, to not get the shot. Funny enough, that's not what it says. It says to consult with. It says that that there's nothing about this vaccine that is dangerous. You know what I mean? It's literally everything he said on that was just bullshit.
Well, right. But yeah, I'm just saying that if he's truly allergic, then he should have provided that to the NFL, and then he would have been accepted. So that just tells me right there that it was bullshit, because he was denied the exemption. Then number two, he said that he was immunized and all that kind of stuff and whatever. And he claimed that the NFL knew. I highly doubt if they knew, and if they did, the NFL is extremely culpable, because he was breaking all of the NFL protocol of he wasn't wearing masks in the media center, he wasn't wearing them in the locker room, he was doing paid sponsorships and things like that. So I'm that literally is in the rules that he wasn't supposed to do that.
Okay, in fairness, he claims that the only rule that he didn't follow was the press conference one, because that one didn't make sense to him. He claims that he's followed every protocol behind the scenes to a T. However, they're doing investigations on that right now. It's reports are saying he's not going to get suspended, but for things like that Halloween party that he went to, it sounds like a hefty fine is in his future. Which, listen, he doesn't have to get suspended at this point because you know what did happen to Aaron Rodgers? It didn't. That's going to be the punishment that's going to fit the crime. His legacy's toast.
Well, for sure, but
his legacy, how he's viewed in the public eye, how people perceive him. He's never going to win NFL MVP again. He's never going to host Jeopardy again.
Sure.
He's never going to be in a State Farm commercial again.
No, he will be. They put out a statement about it. Did you see their statement? State Farm basically said that they respect his decision and his choices, although they do not agree with them, technically speaking. They were just like, well, we don't love it, but, like, he's a good representative for us, so, like, we're just going to agree to disagree. And that's basically what they said in their statement.
So they were like, yeah, we thought what he said was pretty terrible, but discount double check.
Pretty much. Well, here's the thing is that they're skating both lines because they don't want to piss off their, like, liberal customers by saying nothing. And they don't want to piss off the conservative customers who are going to be like, they're canceling him.
It's the MJ thing where he said conservatives buy sneakers too.
You're right, basically.
Yeah.
They're just walking them right down the middle. You know?
Mm-hmm.
No, I think he should be suspended, especially if he did, in fact, break all of these protocols, which I believe he did. And the NFL, there's no way they did know, or if they did know, then the NFL should also be in extreme trouble as well for having a guy that they know is not vaccinated breaking all of these protocols and letting it slide just because he's a star.
And listen, you can't and here's the truth. You really can't trust any party in this because, like, you can't trust what Aaron Rodgers' word says because he lost all credibility by the fact that he misled the public and lied about getting the vaccine because he was asked, "Are you vaccinated?" And he said, "Yes, I am immunized."
Right.
Which means he is claiming to have the vaccine. Either that or he is misleading to make it sound like he got the vaccine.
He was purposely misleading.
Exactly. Which, by the way, now we know two things about Aaron Rodgers. And I'm just going to say it exactly how I'm thinking it. We know Aaron Rodgers is now both a dumbass.
You need to clear your throat there, my guy. I got you.
We know that Aaron Rodgers is both a dumbass and a pussy. And there's just there's no way around it. You know what I'm saying? Because he was afraid of the backlash.
Right.
He completely danced around it. And on the Pat McAfee show today, he said, to those that believe that I made misleading comments, I take 100% responsibility. That's exactly what he said, which...
So he's like, uh-oh, I'm busted.
Well, here's the thing. Like, what a statement that is. Because he's saying, I take full responsibility. Well, yeah.
Obviously.
No shit. But he said there's as much to what he said in that statement as what he didn't say. Because although he said, I take 100% responsibility, he also did not say the words, I apologize. Because he also said, I stand by everything I said. So even though I take responsibility for misleading people, I'm not going to apologize for it. So listen, man, at the end of the day, if you're justifying what Aaron Rodgers, I mean, listen, man, like you can get to the semantics of the politics. We could talk COVID policies and protocols and all that shit. But really, he lied.
Yeah.
He was afraid to face the backlash. And now his legacy's tarnished forever, and people are not going to remember him as a great quarterback. They're going to remember him. Well, I mean, they're going to remember his football at the end of the day. However,
especially as time passes, and also I think that conservatives will let it go, which is kind of like most of the NFL's fan base.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, I mean, listen, any kind of hopes he had to do anything post NFL, like whether it's in Hollywood, whether it's with Jeopardy, anything like that.
At least in the near future,
gone.
I wouldn't be surprised if, a few years down the line, people just kind of brush it under the rug if he finds, himself able to get in good graces by just kind of being back to the same old cheeky Rodgers.
Yeah.
I would love to be able to pretend that, this is like one of those things or whatever, but I just don't see this as being like something that people hold on to forever necessarily. And that's the point that I was going to bring up in the sense of, he's talking about the woke mob and being canceled and this, that. really no one's canceling him. He's not been canceled. He gets to keep his job. His State Farm ads are going to continue to run. They're going to keep him on as an employee.
Yep.
No one's really done anything to cancel
the way
him.
the way Jordan Love played this past Sunday, he could probably stay in Green Bay as long as he likes.
Yeah, he's fine. Like, he's literally not being canceled. And the woke mob's not coming after him, really. Like, on social media, like, people are clowning on him for being, like, a dumbass.
Yeah.
But, like, people aren't coming after him and calling him, like, a Nazi or something.
Well,
like, he's not being woke mobbed.
Yeah.
I don't even know what he's talking about.
Yeah, I mean, listen, man, the woke mob, the cancel culture thing, it's to make any backlash that comes back against you. It's just to prove your point. See, I told you they would do that, which, I mean, listen, people are going to be upset when you're caught lying and when you're openly, because that's the thing, is that what he did was dangerous too, because he openly spread misinformation. And at the end of the day, clearly those 500 pages of research he did were so great that he never showed them to anyone in the public.
Well, that's what I mean. He talked about that, and I was like, why doesn't he just release it if it's like such great research that he did? And also, if it was such great research, he was saying, I think even on the show he mentioned, oh yeah, these vaccines are out and people are still getting COVID, so I don't understand how the efficacy of those are so great. And I'm like, you are sitting here with COVID and you didn't get the vaccine.
Well, not only that, but also...
So what's the efficacy of your research, my guy?
Well, not only that, but also, like, he had the gall to say, like, like, when he talked about the fact that he didn't get the vaccines, when he, when he went into the fact that it was because, he had the allergy, he was like, oh, well, it's not even because of the fraud cases or the theft in these... Like, literally just that little seed, that little passive-aggressive jab of, like, that little conspiracy theory nugget that he just shoves right in there.
It's really weird that he's taken this tact with it as well, because he actually said something I super agreed with, where he said that, he's that he understands that the right is going to champion him, the left is going to demonize him, and he's not going to appear on Fox News or CNN or any of this. He said that politics were basically fake and stupid, which I agree. I'm like, great. He's not turning it into a politics thing. Then why say all these weird buzzwords if you're not going to go on Tucker Carlson? Because it kind of seems like he was like leading to that.
Well, because the problem is that literally the next sentence he was like, but the left, and I was like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
true, he still politicized it, but it's weird that he's not he's running with that.
Yeah, he's like, I'm not going to politicize it, but politically speak, because that's the thing. Yeah. He's a critical thinker, but the problem is when you have the smartest guy in the room syndrome, you get caught eventually, because he went in a pretty big room. Yeah. That room being the internet. Yeah, and there's a lot of people smarter than you out there in the world.
Well, also, what's hilarious to me is we were shitting on Kyrie Irving not that long ago, and Kyrie looks pretty great in comparison to this.
At least Kyrie told the truth.
Yes.
Like, listen, he's a dumbass. At least he's honest about it.
He's completely honest. He's like, listen, this is what I'm doing. I'm still annoyed with the fact that he acts like he's the smartest man in the room, and he just refuses to tell you how he feels about just about anything. But he's following the protocols. He's wearing masks when he needs to and stuff like that. He's not at the team facilities. He's not doing anything. He's not taking the COVID vaccine.
Yeah, he chose. Okay. He chose not to play.
That's exactly it. And by the way, speaking of that, it's funny that Aaron Rodgers is having such a tough time with this. Is like, oh my goodness, I'm being bullied into this vaccine, whatever. Kirk Cousins doesn't have the vaccine. He plays every single week.
Yep.
He's having no issues. He wears a mask in the media center, wears it in the locker room, deals with all of these
Carson
draconian
Carson Wentz.
Yes.
I mean, some would say he plays. I mean, I don't know if that might be insulting to the word plays, but
sure.
He's out in the field.
He's a human body on a football field.
Exactly. So, like, listen, at the end of the day,
these guys are doing it, and I respect them, because here's the thing is, like, while I believe in the vaccine, and I believe that most people should get the vaccine, I am also very, very staunchly in the my body, my choice, and I believe that for everybody, for every reason. Right. I don't understand.
I'm all for that argument. It just has to be consistent. Like, my body, my choice, but don't talk about my body, my choice in any other context.
Right. I don't understand that, because I'm like, yes, it's your body, your choice in every context. I'm like, if you want an abortion and that's something that you've put a lot of care and thought into, and that's like a real situation you're in, okay. If you don't want a vaccine because you're afraid of it because of Alex Jones or whatever, or maybe you have a legitimate reason, whatever.
We're having a political rally in the Pizza Palace today.
Sure, but it's just
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
But it's just one of those things where it's like, I think everyone should be allowed to do what they want to do to their bodies. If Lamar Odom wants to smoke crack,
who was on crack?
He can smoke crack as long as he's not going and killing people.
What's the son of Lamar Odom? Who was on crack?
And my policy for just about everything has always been, as long as if you're doing something and it doesn't affect other people, it kind of is what it is.
Yeah.
If you want to be a degenerate alcoholic, as long as you're not beating your family and like driving at 127 miles an hour down the Las Vegas Strip, stuff like that, then, it's fine. But
Right.
I don't get it.
The problem is that the way Aaron Rodgers went about it does affect other people because that is the thing where the public, because here's the thing, if he was just, I just chose not to get vaccinated, that's my choice. There's health reasons behind it. I would prefer to keep that private at this time. If he just was honest about it,
and wore the masks and didn't come to the facilities when he wasn't supposed, if he did all the protocols to not endanger other people, great. But he didn't. He didn't wear a mask.
Well, and again, he claims he has, because here's the thing, I just want to cover our, I just want to make sure we're being, it's the
he
thing
did this
of
in
being,
Minecraft, allegedly.
I'm just making sure we're being fair. You know what I'm saying? For
sure. But yeah, it's just, I think that is where the my body, my choice thing is kind of weird because it does infringe on other people,
well, yeah.
And so that's the thing. But if you stick to the protocols of the social distancing and the this and that or whatever, and you take care of the people around you, then you don't have to get the vaccine. It is what it is.
Yeah, for sure. It's a whirlwind, man. But hey.
But we are going to get to the newest segment on the show.
This is news to me.
This is news to Sean.
I have literally no idea what's about to happen.
Well, it's nothing too extreme, but we are inviting another team onto this show weekly because they have already made it to every episode, and we are now entering into the Raiders Report.
The Raiders Report! The Raiders Report! The Raiders Report! The Raiders Report!
So this week in the Raiders is that apparently, my man, the 2020 draft could not have possibly.
I sent you that list, right?
Could not have possibly. Yes, you did. And I had seen it on Instagram. But there could not be.
Do you have it in front of you? Can you pull that up?
It's somewhere on my Twitter. I'll pull it up. But this could not have been a worse draft. But more recently, Damon Arnett has been released from the team.
Yeah, didn't he threaten to kill somebody?
We're getting to that, Sean. So,
also, if
he was in the same draft as Ruggs, by the way. Okay, so the 2020 draft. Round 1 was Henry Ruggs and Damon Arnett. Round 3, Lynn Bowden and Brian Edwards. Tanner Muse, also in 3, yep. And then round 4, you had John Simpson and Amick Robertson. I'm going to sound so white trying to say that. But okay, the point is that none of these guys are playing for them at this point, other than maybe Brian Edwards.
Doesn't it list like what they've done?
Yeah. So Henry Ruggs is going to be in prison. Arnett just got cut. Bowden has been traded. Edwards is a starting wide receiver, maybe on the team. I don't even know.
Yeah, I think he's only gotten I saw he's gotten maybe 2 touchdown receptions or something like that.
I watched as many Raiders games as I can.
Yeah.
And I've never seen him. So Tanner Muse
I think Derek
was cut.
Carr's throwing it out to a bag of potato chips every Sunday, by the way. That guy, how does he do it? You know what I'm saying?
I have no idea. My viewpoint on him as a fan of the Raiders has changed so drastically over the years because I flip-flop between loving and hating the man frequently, and it reminds me of being like a Lions fan with Stafford, where you love him and hate him at all times.
You know what this kind of feels like? This kind of feels like when Karl Anthony Towns' parents died, and it's just like, we just want you to go out and have a good time. You know what I mean? Like how last year was just kind of the free pass for Cat. Where it was we're like, wow, the Timberwolves suck. And then like Karl Anthony Towns walks by, you're doing great, Cat. We're proud of you. Hey, you get that bucket, buddy. You know what I'm saying? Like what is?
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. It's like a sympathy thing.
Yeah, Karl Anthony Towns, in all seriousness, thoughts and prayers, man.
My man.
We're all rooting for you.
So Arnett here. He hit and run somebody about a year ago. She is now suing him for like $92,000. He also somehow managed to crash 4 rental cars within the span of a month, which is I don't even know how to begin on that one.
Listen, you can have a great 40-yard dash time, but your 40-yard dash time can't get you away from the law.
And so then also
I'm saying.
On his Instagram live or stories or something, he had like a fucking submachine gun with like a flashlight on or something like that. Or no, I think he sent this privately or something like that to John Gruden and was threatening to kill the coach because he benched him week 1 or something. So that is the state of this team, is that Henry Ruggs fucking killed somebody and their dog in the most horrific thing. Dude, I almost got emotional like reading the accounts of the fact that they could hear this poor woman like screaming and burning. I hope this motherfucker is in prison for the full 46 years that they potentially are levying against him.
Oh, yeah.
And maybe even longer, because this is fucking ridiculous that this man is allowed to ever have freedom after something that horrific. I mean, the negligence and it's unbelievable.
His freedom's gone. And I mean,
fuck him.
Now listen, if we're going to have the Raiders report.
Yes.
Can we have a Lions segment called Campbell's Corner?
Mostly because I love the name so much. The Campbell Corner is my favorite.
Campbell's Corner?
Yes, I'm all in.
Yeah, man, listen, we're heading to Campbell's Corner, gonna have some soup, gonna bite some kneecap. I don't freaking know, man. I mean,
and I really love him. I really, really love him.
Now, I asked this to other people, and I acted, and the people that I asked this to thought this was a stupid question.
Okay.
So I want to throw this out there because I've been tossing this back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say, hypothetical. Now, personally, I don't think this is gonna happen.
Okay.
I don't think we're gonna go 0-17. I don't.
Okay.
But let's say we do. Do you fire Dan Campbell?
No, not at all.
I go back and forth on it because it's like, here's the thing. I believe in Dan Campbell. I firmly believe he is our best coach we've hired in a long time because of the way that the team rallies for him, the way that he has the locker room, you know what I mean? But here's the thing. To go 0-17, you know what I'm saying?
Which I think they will do, by the way. I'm fully in the camp that, as much as I love the guy and I do like the team, I think that they're going 0-17.
Which, by the way, the fact that Jared Goff has not been benched yet.
Well, who the fuck are they going to put in?
I don't care.
That's the problem.
I don't care.
So, okay, let me talk about, since we're in Campbell's Corner here, let's dig into the Lions.
Welcome to Campbell's Corner, man.
Let's please pop him up for Campbell's Corner whenever.
We got
that's
his
the
face.
segment.
Yeah, I made a thing one time of Dan Campbell on a Campbell's can.
That's
This is gonna be right
thing.
back here, exactly.
Yeah, I definitely whatever team we're talking about, just put up their logo or whatever.
Heck yeah, man. We're gonna do that, man.
So the Lions. This season was pretty much designed for failure because you have a quarterback who is mediocre at best coming in anyways, and literally the only reason they even took him is because they absolutely had to in order to get this trade to go through.
Yeah, it's
the
really
only reason.
I mean,
if they could have not taken him, they would have chosen that option.
Yeah, we're gonna have the number 1 pick in the draft. We have the Rams' first round pick.
Right. That was the point.
Yeah, exactly.
The whole point was that they didn't want to win. So they've done that very successfully by having basically no quarterback.
Right.
They have literally no wide receivers that anyone can even fucking name or even matters.
Which,
that
by the way,
will not be the future. None of these wide receivers, I hate to break it to you, will be on the team in the next few years. They're just irrelevant.
I am shocked. But it feels like this team feels like the remnants of the Patricia Quinn era. Like, it just feels like
parts of it.
I mean, a lot of it. I mean, a lot of it still. You know what I mean? They didn't.
Well, so Flowers, I think, is going to be gone. I think that that's a contract that needs to be moved yet. Obviously, they're going to have to wait to get Goff off the books. They're going to need to pick up some wide receivers. I think that Hawkinson is going to be a great piece to hold on to. The only reason that he has not been having a great year is because he is your only receiver, and he's a fucking tight end.
And he also has Jared Goff throwing him the football.
Exactly.
Who will not throw it beyond 5 yards.
Yeah, and he doesn't even do it the way that Tom used to in New England. So Swift is also a really, really good running back.
It's insulting you even put Tom Brady's name in the same paragraph.
I know it is. But so Swift is clearly a good running back. Hawkinson's a good tight end. I think adding some wide receivers, you can kind of do.
Offensive line's good.
Fairly easy. The offensive line is great. You need a quarterback. Some defensive pieces are going to need to be let go and then rearranged, get some new ones, things like that.
So
whatever.
This is a plenty of parking situation.
Yeah. We plenty of openings.
We need milk, cookies, bread, cheese. We need it all, man.
You need a whole laundry list. But
yeah, we got all the cupboards we got to fill, man.
I would say there's not. Okay, there is a decent bit of the Patricia left in a sense that some of the players are still there kind of, but the players you have that are remnants are all good, except I would argue that Flowers needs to be let go, mostly because his contract is terrible, and now also it seems like he's given up on the team.
What a waste of money that was, by the way. I mean, I think he's only in the single digits of sacks since being a Lion, and he was brought in to be like he was supposed to be our cornerstone pass rusher. Like
Right.
he was supposed to help bring us to the playoffs. Like that's the thing. You know what I'm saying? Like
it'll be a good 5 to 6 years at least.
yeah.
Here's my thing with Dan Campbell. I think he keeps his job because the team was designed to lose. So if anyone expected anything different, they're kind of an idiot because when I was telling people before the season, I said immediately, like, 3 wins for this team is optimistic.
Yeah,
I said 3 was
absolutely.
optimistic. So, and I think the front office is smart enough to know that, and I think that they like him, and I don't know that he's proven to be a bad coach because ultimately we haven't seen like a lot of plays where you're like, what the fuck was that? Like he
Right.
doesn't do a lot of shit where
Honestly,
you're like, what the fuck was that?
Honestly, a lot of the games that we were in and we were leading in,
Right.
it was because of the coaching decisions he made. He outcoached Sean McVay for the majority of the Rams game.
Right. So
the fake punts, the trick plays, the desperate
and that's only going to work so often. But
it's only going to work so often, but it shows that like he's creative. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like he doesn't just stick to the same. You know, like with the Matt Patricia era. You like literally game 1, they were like Jets players like, oh, we knew every single play they were running.
yeah.
They literally knew the script.
Right.
And so with this team, you can at least say there's not a consistent script. You know what I'm saying? They go out there, they try new things, but like, you know, I knew we were going in this year to lose. I think any sensible Lions fan, which I don't know if exists because, you know, you can't say sensible and Lions fan in the same sentence. But
no, you cannot.
But having said that, I understand losing it was going to happen and we were going to lose a lot, right?
Yeah, of course.
But to not win a single game, like
I get it.
Which, listen, any franchise, it's a bad thing, right?
Yep.
But for the Lions to become the first franchise to do it twice, I know you're laughing right now, and like that is a funny thought. Like that is just a ridiculous
It's
thought.
such a Lions thing.
Because only the Lions. But
Only
here's the
the
thing.
Lions.
But here's the problem, though.
Mm-hmm.
Think about it from a fan's perspective to say that in my, like, especially for me, right? I've only been alive since 1997,
Yep.
right? I have watched Lions football for going on 2 decades at this point, right? For that team, in 2 of those years of 2 decades, to not even win 1 game, how does that give hope to the franchise? How does it give hope to the fans? How do players buy in? Because listen, even though that team was designed to lose, those guys in that locker room aren't going out there to lose.
Well, obviously,
You know
yeah,
what I
and
mean?
that's obviously not great.
So how do you get guys to buy in? That's my only thing. Personally, I love Dan Campbell. I'm not saying he should be fired. I agree. I don't think he will. I don't think he would. But like, I don't think we just pass on like what that would mean, because like that might, because the Lions are already a laughing stock. This could be a point of no return thing. You know what I'm saying?
I just feel like I look at it and I think, you know, the last time they went 0-16, they ended up with Matthew Stafford and then they made the playoffs a couple of times. So I look at it as they're kind of just like, well, fuck it, we'll just try again like we did a few years ago.
But here's the problem, though, is that there's no Matt Stafford at the end of this tunnel. Like whoever's going to be the number 1 overall pick in the draft this year. I mean, right now this is looking like the weakest quarterback draft we've had in years. Right?
Which makes sense that would be when the Lions get the number 1 pick.
Of
kind of
course.
similar to like the Pistons. Like I love Cade Cunningham and he makes me smile. Like, you know, he's the first thing that has so far made me fall unbelievably in love with the Detroit Pistons as well as basketball as a sport. But well, since Isaiah Thomas, not the Piston one, the other one. But the the thing is, like, this draft did not have LeBron James or Michael Jordan or whatever. Maybe, we don't know. Maybe all of a sudden he'll turn out to be that way. I don't see it technically speaking,
but it was also the best draft since LeBron James went.
Like, as far as the fact that there was that many decent players in it or whatever?
That how strong the top of the class was.
Yeah, it was a strong top of the class. I just still don't know that we're going to find, like I don't know that there's a Giannis amongst these guys.
I mean, but also Giannis wasn't even seen as a Giannis amongst his guys because Giannis came out of nowhere.
Well, that's what I mean.
He was drafted 15th overall.
True.
You know what I'm saying? So like you know, I think
time will tell on these guys. I'm being a little bit quick to jump the gun on those guys. But what I mean is...
You're talking a little out of your ass, but that's okay.
Well, what I mean is, though, is that it's so unfair that Detroit, when they finally get the first pick, it would make sense that they always hit right when the draft is really weak, and it's just, like, awesome.
Okay, but Detroit literally, like... Okay, that works, except with the Pistons, because this is literally the strongest draft in almost 20 years.
All right. I mean, I'll believe you because you know more about basketball. I just feel like I haven't heard anyone talk about this draft as if there's a MJ waiting.
Okay,
you know what I mean?
But also, like, people didn't even talk about MJ like MJ was waiting.
No, I get that. Yeah, it's strong, but like, will this draft be remembered the way that like MJ's draft was, or that like LeBron's draft was remembered?
Possibly, yes.
We don't know, I guess. Yeah, and hopefully, Cade is amongst those guys. Is what I'm saying.
Right.
Like, we don't know, but I just feel like no one's looking at Cade right now realistically and going like, oh yeah, like this guy's gonna be LeBron James. Like, you have no idea.
Robert,
what?
He's played 4 goddamn games.
No, I get that, but like, but I'm just saying, I don't think it's ridiculous to make that assertion. Like, I think a lot of times when someone comes into the draft, you can kind of tell on some level, you know, kind of where it's headed or what kind of special talent that they are going to be. Like, when we looked at this previous QB draft in the NFL, I think it was pretty obvious that none of those guys were going to be Tom Brady. And thus far,
I mean, yes, but also people were saying that Trevor Lawrence is the best QB prospect since Peyton Manning. People were saying...
They were saying that. I think they're the dumbest people alive.
Well, here's the thing. People were also saying that Cade Cunningham's the best number 1 overall pick since LeBron James. So that was being said. People were also saying that he's the best overall prospect to enter the league since Luka Doncic. That was said. That's not anyone saying that he's not special.
Yeah.
Troy Weaver said there's no LeBron James in his draft, but also
right.
when you have the number 1 overall pick, you kind of want to not set those expectations that high because, you know, here's the thing. So let me use a little bit of an antidote.
Mm-hmm.
All right. When Lonzo Ball was drafted to the LA Lakers, the hype got out of control quick.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I'm talking, do you remember his press conference with the Lakers?
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember what happened?
Oh, not, like, was there, like, some big quote that came out of there? Like, I remember, like, him and his stupid dad being themselves or whatever, but...
So, here's what happened at the press conference. Literally, like, Magic Johnson looked at Lonzo Ball, and he said to him straight up, you see those names up in those rafters up there?
Oh, yeah, okay.
I expect your jersey in those rafters. So, like, listen.
He's been to 2 teams since then.
Listen. Listen. Like, so here's the ultimate point. I'm not saying Detroit doesn't believe in Cade Cunningham. I'm not saying... I'm not saying I don't believe in him. Well, and I'm also not saying he is the next LeBron James. I'm just saying, you know, because here's the thing, like, you know, to the point, like, you know, Lonzo Ball, he's still a hell of an NBA player. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And he's looked pretty damn good on the Bulls.
Yeah, but those expectations, those killed him day one. Ben Simmons, he came in, he was expected to be the savior in Philly, that he and Joel Embiid were going to carry that franchise to prominence. That pressure obviously is killing him.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, I don't know what this draft class is going to be, but I think the ultimate point is, even whatever hyperbole there is about any draft prospect,
right,
the only one that we knew was going to be special in the past 40 years of players coming into the league, it was LeBron.
Right.
Like, we knew LeBron was going to come in and he was going to dominate day one, right?
Right.
I mean, probably the only other one was Shaq, just because it was like, okay, his physical intangibles, that guy's going to dominate. But even like Michael Jordan, it's like, okay, that guy could be a great scorer in the league, but he was drafted number 3 overall for a reason.
Right. And same with like Kevin Durant. He was drafted kind of late.
Second overall.
Second. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
so,
I thought he fell further than that, but okay.
Trivia question. You know who went first in that draft?
I do not.
You ever heard of the name Greg Oden?
Is that brother of Lamar Odom?
That's Lamar Odom.
Odom? I don't fucking know. Doesn't matter.
I love our basketball talks, Robert.
Absolutely.
This Campbell's Corner was absolutely... We got 2 great segments out of this episode. The Raiders Report and Campbell's Corner, baby.
Absolutely. No, but I Yeah, I'm very hopeful for Cade Cunningham in general, and I hope that he is the next Kevin Durant, or something like that. That'd be great. Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea what this draft is going to end up being as far as these guys. And similarly to the point of like the upcoming quarterback draft or whatever, people are saying it looks weak or whatever. Well, we don't really know because the last one was supposedly so strong and all of them fucking suck. And Mac Jones only looks good because he's on the Patriots.
Yeah, and that is the thing is like, it really does depend on where you end up, right? I mean, I think whoever the Lions draft, they have the solace knowing that like, they at least have like a guy like Anthony Lynn as the offensive offensive coordinator who like, even though he wasn't a great head coach, I mean, he is a solid offensive coordinator. I mean, Justin Herbert looked pretty freaking good his rookie year with him in the coaching seat, you know what I'm saying?
Dude, for real. Yeah.
So, I think because it really just depends on the fit and the situation. And let's just be realistic here. You know what I mean? There's no harder place to be drafted than the Detroit Lions because...
Well, maybe the Jets.
I mean, maybe, but like I think...
They've drafted 2 quarterbacks and both have gone really bad so far.
Well, yeah, absolutely. But like what I mean is from the pressure that comes in when you step in the building because with the Jets, they've at least had past success. You know what I'm saying?
A very long time ago.
Very long time ago.
Yeah.
But they've at least had past success.
Yeah.
With the Lions, we haven't. Not since the 50s. So,
57.
So literally, when you are drafted as a quarterback to the Detroit Lions, number one overall, you are seen as the savior. And the only guy that lived up to those expectations was Matthew Stafford, and even then he didn't win for us. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, didn't win a playoff game even.
He's the only guy that you can look at and go, okay, he never even won a playoff game for us, but Matthew Stafford was by no means a bust. You know what I'm saying?
Probably the best Lions quarterback of all time, I think, technically speaking.
Yeah, definitely the best Lions quarterback of all time.
And so the only reason that I say maybe the Jets is only because their market is so much bigger and there's so much more pressure in New York, because I listen to New York radio every single day, and it is hilarious to me to listen to these morons drone on every day with the most heated passion I've ever heard and anger about a team, where I'm sitting there as a guy from Michigan going, you fucking idiots thought the Jets were actually going to be anything?
Well,
like, you fucking morons, like, we're the New York, whatever the I'm like,
but it says something.
You thought they were going to do something?
It says something that they got rid of the coaching staff that they did, and that their new coaching staff is somehow way worse. You know what I'm saying?
And their quarterback is also just as bad as Sam Darnold was, and then they put in a backup, and he looks immediately better than the guy they drafted.
I mean, but also, like, he was set up to fail, man. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
That offensive line is terrible. He
Everything
has no
about the Jets is terrible. Name a guy on the team right now. Exactly, right? You can't.
You got me.
Thank you.
You got me.
The New York Jets are the dumbest team in football, like by a landslide.
But having said that, Jets, Jets.
Yeah, it's hilarious, this team. But no, I do understand that pressure because it is a team that has essentially never won, ever. Never been successful.
Not essentially. We never won.
Yeah, like they were successful in the 50s, and they had some success here and there when they had like Barry Sanders, when they had Megatron, stuff like that. They've had like glimpses of success, but no true, real success. I mean, even the Jets, you can look back at like Joe Namath and stuff like that or whatever. You can look back to the 80s and be like,
back at Joe Namath.
Those days?
Yeah, you can look at Joe Namath. And Joe Namath.
And that's about it.
And maybe Rex Ryan? Maybe.
Yeah,
that's the weird thing.
Maybe if you squint.
I mean, Rex Ryan said he
was pretty good.
Yeah, listen, all I'm saying, maybe the Jets need to give Rex Ryan a John Gruden type contract, except don't release his emails. But anyway.
Yeah, let's not go back to the Raiders report. It's too sad.
Yeah, we got the Raiders report out of we ripped off that Band-Aid this week.
It's too sad. Hopefully I can give a good one of these days, but god damn it, my Raiders, man. I tell you, this stupid ass franchise. But no, the Lions. I just think he stays because the expectations were so low. You give him another season or so to, you go 0-17 this year. You pick a quarterback, likely first overall, even though there's not technically a great guy, but what else are you going to do? You load up and get some more wide receivers, maybe defense, something in there, whatever, to continue to kind of help cultivate this roster a little bit. See if you can't pick up a couple of pieces in free agency. For Christ, give him some targets.
Right.
And he's going to have a good enough offensive line that maybe the rookie can kind of establish something or whatever. Dan Campbell, if the Lions make the playoffs, if they make the playoffs at any point in the future and are going to try for a Super Bowl run, Dan Campbell will not be the coach of this team. I just don't believe that. But I think that he's going to be the type of Jeff Blashill type guy that you just keep around because he's going to be good for the players in the interim until they're good. Because much like my beloved Red Wings,
I want it to be Dan Campbell, though.
I know you do.
I want it to be him.
And he's way cooler than Jeff Blashill. But much like that, I'm like, the Red Wings are seeing some success right now, and that to me seems to say that Jeff Blashill is going to be on a bit of a clock here because it's like, okay, now that we're getting good, you can leave because you did your job. You kept us afloat, but now we need a real coach. And I think that Dan Campbell is going to serve a very similar purpose to where I think he's going to kind of keep the spirits high on a team that blows, and he's going to keep these guys bought in as best as he can through 0-17.
Kind of like what it
is.
Kind of like what Rob Gardenhire was for the Tigers.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, pretty much exactly that. That's a really good comparison, Sean. But no, like
you're surprised. It's like I don't know.
Well, no. I just didn't even think about them because and then they got AJ Hinch, who's clearly been very good for the team, and they're probably going to get Carlos Correa and some other pieces, maybe even Verlander to help teach the young guys, and they'll just kind of keep building from there. So,
right.
But the Lions, they're at the very beginning. They're at right before the Pistons tore it apart piece by piece, limb from limb, and left nobody on the team. They're at
They're like if the Pistons played last year without those 3 draft picks that were actually promising.
You're right.
Like we had Penei Sewell, but that's it. Because no one's gonna go, wow, look at that left tackle.
This is kind of like the Pistons right after they got rid of Blake Griffin, and if they didn't have any of the rookies, pretty much. Yeah,
yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Although the Lions. I think that they can't get worse because they're going to go 0-17 this year.
Yeah, they're going to say, hold my beer on that one.
But they now, if Dan Campbell goes 0-17 twice, well, then it's time to chase him out of town with pitchforks and
of course.
But
hey, you know what? Well, at least let him keep his kneecaps, right?
Absolutely, let him keep all of the kneecaps that he scalped.
Yeah, he better have some kneecaps hanging on his wall at home, dude.
He's got them all on his mantle in a jar. It's just awesome. Just a bunch of fucking...
A jar?
Yeah, a jar, just dry kneecaps with bits of flesh on them still. Just some fucking... some rotting marrow. He's like, them are my kneecaps. He gets emotional talking about them,
He's like, see these right here? Vintage Derrick Rose, 2010. The centerpiece of my collection.
Trade him like baseball cards.
Got Lance Armstrong's testicle too. You want to come check that out?
And I've got John Gruden's pride here too. Aw.
I can't think of a better way to end the Pizza Palace.
Yeah, exactly. But guys, that is pretty much what we've got. The Pistons are finally going to get back to playing basketball tomorrow.
Yeah, they really didn't want us to have anything to talk about this week, apparently.
I mean, I was so confused. I kept looking, and I was like, where the fuck is the Pistons?
Yeah, I was like, who do we play? I was like, guys,
unbelievable.
Instead of all these back-to-backs we're going to have, you could have just spread these out a little bit.
So... the Pistons are finally back. The Red Wings are amazing, so keep watching them. The Lions suck, but what else is new?
And the Raiders have all their draft picks in jail. And a partridge in a pear tree.
Oh, and also the NASCAR championship happened, so that was cool. I was very happy to watch that.
Yeah, and it was a great lesson that you too can say the N-word and still be the championship
still
be the champion of your sport. You too can be a racist scumbag and still be the top of your field.
That was certainly not ideal from that standpoint, but
talk about one place where there's not a woke mob or cancel culture. There's NASCAR.
Yeah, there's a lot of things there, but yeah, that was a fun season. I'm looking forward to the new car next year, and I could go on for years about NASCAR, but no one else cares about it.
Yeah, there's too many episodes. That's for the pizza pit stop. You know what I'm saying?
Pizza pit stop. Yes. Oh, fucking A. All right. We love you guys. We will see you, and don't eat any ivermectin, please.
Boop, 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 boop. Boop, 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 boop. Yeah. Boop, 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 boop. Boop, 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 boop. Yeah.